everybody, and good afternoon. Welcome to our week number 3 Twitch live stream. Hard to believe that we are more than halfway through our very short class. We just have this week and next week to go, and we're done. Definitely starting to feel like summer today. It's very warm, right? Can you all hear me and see me okay? Can someone let me know in the chat if everything is coming through fine on your end before I keep going? Just a double check. Oh, wait just a minute just to see loud and clear. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for letting me know. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I hope everyone is doing well. I want to give you a little bit of feedback about last week, and then we'll talk about what we have going on for this week, and just a couple of kind of notes about what next week will look like as well. So let's go ahead and jump over to Canvas together. And if we scroll down, right, we are here. Right, so we have week 3 and week 4, and then you get to have a nice rest of your summer. So we are definitely very close past the halfway point. I'm going to mention this several times today and probably next week as well. But I want you to notice that our class officially ends on a Friday. Now, this is not something that I decided. This is set by the schedule for the college. But if you're looking, our normal weeks are, Monday to Sunday, Monday to Sunday, Monday to Sunday. But this week is a normal one. Next week, our class officially ends on Friday at 11:59 p.m. I don't want anyone to miss that. I'll send out lots of announcements and reminders and remind you many times today. But as a result, what I've done is I've actually opened up week number 4. So as of Monday morning, you have access to everything else that is due in the class. And I did that on purpose just to give you a little bit of flexibility, since I imagine a lot of you work and have other things going on, and having a short week next week might make it a little more challenging. So just as a heads up, if you notice that week number 4 is open, that was on purpose, and it's my effort of giving you a little extra time since our week does end next week on a Friday. But before we get there, let's go back and talk just a touch about week number 2. Last week we were looking at consciousness and learning and memory and cognition. Really, I think kind of interesting, fun topics in psychology. Let's take a look at kind of some trends that I saw in the discussions. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask as we go. So for discussion number 3, we're looking at dreams. And I really enjoyed reading your thoughts about dreams. I tend to think dreams are really meaningful and interesting, or I should say can be meaningful and interesting. Sometimes they feel completely random. But I enjoyed reading all of your thoughts about dreams and where they come from and how they connect to the theories. The biggest reason that people lost points on discussion number 3 was not giving me enough right here. So not describing the theories as they connected to the dream. There were several of you that I wrote, like, I wanted a little bit more. That was the biggest reason by a mile that people lost points. 1 or 2 people forgot to answer the question of what do you personally think we dream? And several of you also forgot to reply to a classmate. So don't forget, as we move into this week and next week, don't forget to reply to a peer to get those 2 very easy points. And as always, kind of elaborate. I think it's better to give me too much than not enough, just so you don't miss out on any of those points. For discussion number 4, with this one, you were looking at memory. So with this one, I was looking at, what would you do if you had to memorize the sequence of 28 digits and numbers? And again, this is something that if you had taken this class with me in person, you would have to do this. Actually, you just got to write about it. And a lot of you had great, strategies of like coming up with a story or breaking it into pieces, maybe putting it to a song. The biggest thing that I saw was for some of you, I really wanted you to give me a little bit more, right? I wanted you to give me a little more detail. Like some of you said, I came up with the story, but I wanted to know the story, right? And so if you didn't get full points, that was probably the reason why. Or a few of you gave me the same strategy for seconds and days, and I really wanted it to be a different one. So for the most part, again, really nicely done. Don't forget that peer response. Don't forget to elaborate. All things that, hopefully you'll kind of get into the groove with as we go. Somebody asked if the video is started. If you might not be able to hear me, but if you're having problems with the video or the sound, one easy solution is to log out and log back in. Sometimes just doing that is enough. So fingers crossed that works for you. As for the exam, a lot of you did fantastic. There were a lot of like 74, 75 points on the exam, which made me very happy to see. Many, many, many A's. A lot of you clearly kind of have figured out how to prepare, what you need to do. Continue to use the exams as a learning opportunity. If you didn't do as well as you would like, you can still kind of change things up for this next one. If you did great, keep it up. It's clearly working. So use them as kind of an opportunity to continue like evaluating what you're doing. And a lot of you did a great job reflecting on that in that self-assessment that was due last week, kind of thinking about what you could do better versus what you're doing quite well. And a lot of you also took advantage of the extra credit with these Twitch live streams. So from here, what we'll do is we'll talk about week number 3, but are there any questions at all about week number 2? I'm going to wait just a minute just to make sure. Answer one question here on here. Okay, if you think of anything, of course, feel free to put it in the chat. I'm not seeing anything for the moment, but if you think of something, feel free. Otherwise, this week, as usual, we have 4 chapters, 2 discussions, and an exam. You also have another little self-assessment. This will be the last one that you will do. So this week, we're looking at motivation, emotion, human development, and personality. So with these 4 chapters, the kind of core concepts and topics within the field of psychology, as always, you're going to want to do 3 things for each chapter, right? My kids make fun of me for the way I hold up 3. 3, right? 1, you're going to want to read the chapter in the ebook. 2, make sure you read through the lecture and click on any links, watch any videos, explore everything that's there. And number 3, watch the lecture video. You might consider taking notes, definitely pay attention. Doing all 3 of these things together will give you all of the information that you need and help you to capture all of that. Once you have done all of that, once you've finished your reading and your discussion, lecture, like all that kind of stuff, then you'll do these 2 discussions. We have discussion 5 and discussion 6. So let's take a look at that together. All right. Okay. And so, oops, sorry, it's like it booted me out here on my end. So as always, you have my instructions up here at the top, and then you have my video. This one is looking at emotions. And so what I want you to look at for this discussion is you're going to pick like an emotional reaction to something and explain it from 3 different theories: the James Lang, Cannon-Bard, and Schachter-Singer, the 3 big theories that we covered. So this can be something that is completely made up, or it can be something that happened to you. You can be creative or literal. It's totally up to you. But you're going to talk about like an event and your emotional reaction and how it occurred from each of these 3 theories. And I want you to describe the chain of events. So make sure you keep in mind from each of these theories, this chain is a little bit different, right? So from the James Lang theory, for example, you might talk about how something happened and it led to a physiological response, which led to the emotion, right? Remember that each one kind of has that chain. Those little pictures in the textbook are going to be really helpful for that for you. Make sure you do that for all 3 theories. Then you're also going to talk a little bit about what are some ways to spot a lie. This can be your own personal experience or things from the lecture, but be specific. And just as for fun, as a bonus between us, right, if you want, my video is getting a little old. I should probably re-record it. But what I'd love for you to do is watch this, see if you can guess which one is the lie. And I will definitely reveal to you when I send out feedback next week. I practiced quite a bit, so like it might be a little bit hard to tell, but I've never been good at that 2 truths and a lie game. I'm smiling just thinking about lying. It's not my strength in life, but if you want to watch that just for fun, it is there. And of course, don't forget to reply to a classmate for those 2 points as usual. The other discussion for this week, discussion number 6. Again, as usual, you have my instructions and my video. This one is about human development, looking at kind of being a teenager and then themes of aging. So for this one, you're going to click on this link here and watch and listen to 2 songs about being a teenager. You're going to get your country music fix, potentially, if you're not a big country music fan. This might be your quota for the summer or the year. But it's 15 by Taylor Swift and Letter to Me by Brad Paisley. So I'd like you to listen to and follow those songs. The other thing that you're going to do is go track down some birthday cards. And this can be something you do virtually, or you can go somewhere like a grocery store or Hallmark, Target, Walmart, CVS, anywhere that sells greeting cards. And you're going to kind of look at, cards that target the age of turning 30, 40, and 50. And then ones that are a little bit later in life, like turning 60, 70, 80, or like aging in general. And after you've listened to the songs and done your field work, then you'll answer these questions, right? How do the songs incorporate and demonstrate some of the cognitive, social, and physical milestones of being a teenager? I really want you to bring in like specific concepts and examples from the lyrics, incorporate them in order to get that full credit. This is where people tend to lose points, right? Again, really be specific. Show me that you can connect the songs to the stuff that we've covered. And then what were some of the general messages, tones, and focuses of the cards for each age range that you examined? What were some of the attitudes and stereotypes about aging? And then just for fun, if you had to personally be stuck at one age for the rest of your life, what age would you pick and why? And if you want, you're more than welcome to upload pictures or videos of some of the cards that you look at. But I look forward to what you come up with here. Don't forget to also reply to a classmate. And again, one last time, make sure that you're giving me specifics and really linking it to the materials in the chapters. The other thing that you have this week, as usual, you do have an exam number 3. Just like usual, you'll be taking that on the ebook site. Same kind of rules, right, and guidelines. You have 75 minutes. You get one attempt, so make sure you're ready and organized before you begin. Have a nice quiet place, have 75 minutes to spare, good internet, all that kind of stuff. If it were me, I've suggested this a couple of times, but if it were me, I would do the study guide. Make sure I have that in front of me. Remember that the study guide is going to give you every term that you need to know for the exam. So if it's on here, make sure you know it. If it's not, you can let it go. But chapter 9, 10, 11, and 12, so everything from this week. And again, I would type it up, have it in front of me. That way I'm not trying to kind of find information during the exam. So keep doing what's working for you. If you're getting A's on the exams and you're happy with your score, keep it up. If you wish you had done a little bit more, maybe spend some more time on that study guide. That's a really common way that you can improve. You also have a really short self-assessment for this week, just like last week, kind of, where are you at as we cross the halfway point? What could you improve on? What do you want to keep the same? And so on. I will, of course, give you an extra credit question here in a moment, and then there'll be a recording of this that I'll post a little bit later after I've done the upload and download and all that kind of stuff. I do have a couple of reminders for you, and then I'll see if you have any questions for me before I give you that extra credit question. The first one, please take a moment really quickly to double check that you're still subscribed. If you have never figured this out, it is not too late. I really appreciate those of you who have done it. It saves me so much time and energy, and I'm in the heart of like all-star softball with my daughter, and it's taking up so much of my time. So I really appreciate those of you who have done this. You also obviously have the ability to not have to put your name in the chat and deal with all those benefits that we talked about earlier. So if you haven't done this, please take a moment to do it. We do have one more week, which leads me to my last reminder for you. Our Twitch live stream next week will actually be a recording. All right. So I will be making a recording, and you can just watch it here on Canvas. The nice part about that is you don't have to worry about attending and kind of keeping track of who's here and who isn't. But it will be a recording next week. I am going to be out of town, and I'm not sure what my internet will look like for live streaming. I have to have a very good connection for that. So just to avoid the potentially like logging in and then having it be a mess, I'm just going to make a recording for you next week. I'm also going to put in the chat here. Please remember that our class officially ends on Friday, June 14th at 11:59 p.m. Right, so as we talked about, everything for next week is already available. That's going to help you to work ahead if you would like to, or if you know that you're going to have a tough week next week. The last thing that I do have for you is to give you that extra credit question, and I wrote it out ahead of time to help myself out since I'm awful at typing and talking. But this is our week number 3 Twitch extra credit question. What is the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation? And give me an example. So what is the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation? And give an example. And so when you're ready to answer that, you'll go onto Canvas. And since we're in week 3, you'll click on optional Twitch extra credit number 3 right here. Then click on start assignment up at the top. And here you can type your response in the box, right? Type, not type. Type your response in the box. When you're done, you'll hit submit. You get your confetti burst and presents. That's fitting. Tomorrow's actually my birthday, right? So I got early presents from Canvas. Thank you, Canvas. Very kind. Right. So make sure that you get going on everything for week number 3. Again, if you would like, you are more than willing or able to start on everything from next week. It is open and ready for you. I won't be on here live next week, but I definitely will be making a video just to kind of help you out with some reminders. I'll send out some emails with reminders, especially about the fact that our class ends next Friday night. But other than that, what I will do is I'll hang out for a little while if you have any questions for me. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Enjoy this heat that we're about to have. If that's your thing, I am much more a fan of like cold, rainy weather, but it feels like summer. It makes me want to go swimming and go to the beach and all that kind of stuff. But if you have any questions, I will hang out and I'm happy to answer them for you. You can put them in the chat. Otherwise, go ahead and take off. Go get going on week number 3 or 4 if you haven't already. And thank you so much for like the 20 something of you who joined me. I'm more than happy to keep doing this for all of you who have been doing that. So thank you. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to minimize my video so I'm not staring at myself, but I will hang out for a little bit if you do have any questions at all for me. You're welcome. Oh, and thank you. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. I've already ordered a massive cake that I plan to eat tomorrow. I'm very excited for that. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all. You're all so kind. Thank you so much. It's a chocolate cake from Vaughn's. Nothing like special, but I love chocolate cake. I am a big chocolate cake fan. They are so good. I could order a cake for no reason, but at least this time I did have a legitimate reason to order it. But yes, I love their cakes so much. They're my favorite. And I am still here. If any of you have any questions at all, I'll hang out for a few more minutes and then I will start that upload download process so that you can access the recording. All right, everyone. Seems all quiet over here. I'm not getting any questions or anything at all, and it looks like almost all of you have logged off. So I'm going to close this up to start the upload download process. Of course, if you think of something later, feel free to email me. Have a wonderful week, and don't forget that week number 4 is open for you if you wanted to work ahead.